problems we are suffering and what are the mental issues we are going on. And there we can have the help of psychologists. And psychotic patients normally prefers psychiatric medicines and all. So first of all, I want to tell you, we all are neurotic patients. We all are suffering from a lot of mental health and mental health problems. I'm not saying mental health problems. And so entering into this, in this during this pandemics, I had an array of patients who comes with a lot of stress. Normally, I deal with an adolescents, and the World Health Organization regarding the mental status of the people over in Kerala, especially. After the lockdowns, the people, especially the adolescents, have suffered a lot of problems, like the mental issues. They are locked inside the four walls of the home, and their tantrums has increased the problems in the parenting too. So that this pandemic has made problem for both the children and the parents. So, without wasting the time, let us discuss on first the biological aspects of what these problems are. Now, let us see what you mean by mental health. When we discuss on mental health, it is actually a complete freedom from mental illness. It's the freedom from mental illness or being psychologically fit. That is called the mental health. That is, we are relaxed from all the psychological issues and are we feeling sound mental health. So that is normally what we say mental health. And what causes the mental trauma? These three things, these three traumatic conditions are we going to discuss in detail. Stress, worry, and anxiety. These are the main traumas. Now, we will come to this in more detail, but let's see what are the factors which causes uh, mental disorders. The first one, genetic factors. They're completely the traumatic life experiences, what we experience from our childhood. Even now the cases we have diagnosed the thyroid, the person with thyroid definitely have that causes of mental illness. And we have a history of close biological relatives, if any of our relatives, that is called genetical issues, which can be carried on with the biological relatives. Then when we come to the environmental factor, the environmental too plays a crucial role in what we say mental health issues. Like our job stress, definitely the pandemics, the financial crisis, the personal relationship, all these are the environmental factors which lead us into that situation of social that stress and or the mental issues. Now let's discuss on the anxiety, the type of anxiety or what we call mental issue. They are general anxiety disorders, panic disorders, phobia, social anxiety disorders are there, separation anxiety disorders are there, obsessive compulsive OCDs are there, post-traumatic disorders are there, adjustment disorders are there. I'm not going into detail of all these things because this is not a place for discussing all those stuff. But the main criteria of today's topic is to discuss these pandemic issues, what this pandemic causes on our brain, and how these things should be resolved out. So, guys and friends, let's come back to the three major mental traumas that is caused by our pandemic, that this COVID-19, which created increase the trauma, mental trauma. These are the three mental traumas which has gone risen up or skyrocketed these days. They are the stress, worry, and anxiety. Normally in India, we people are unable to distinguish between the three actually. We feel that stress is same, worry is same, anxiety is same. We don't know. Simply, I heard a patient come and say, "Sir, I'm suffering from anxiety." I said, "How are you going to know that you have anxiety?" There is no answer. So, first of all, we should know in clarity what is actually stress, worry, and anxiety. What role does they have? What dual role does they have in our life? let's see the part of our brain. We have, let's the for your information, the brain is divided into three parts: prefrontal lobe, limbic system, and the brain stem. Now we are going into detail. Look at the prefrontal lobe. This is the place which is our conscious mind is, and here this is the place which help us to solve the problem. Our reasoning capacities are being, our judging capacities all rest here, and the first trauma called worry resides here. Now, as I said, that prefrontal lobe is something which helps to solve out our problem. They are thoughts, and definitely, therefore, the worry residing in the prefrontal lobe definitely helps you in a way. How? How do a worry helps you? Can any one of the participants can you tell me how this worry may help you out? Apart or any from the departments, please refer on the topic. How do worry helps? Free to comment. There is not. Let's have an interactive session in the beginning itself. Yeah, anyone? Kishore, can you help me out with the participants?
Yeah, the participants can also respond to the questions. You can either by unmuting yourself, or you can post your answers in the.
Yeah, because this is a session I want for interactive sessions, because so that we have a learning session over here. Apart from simply listening, let's share our ideas. Anyone? I cannot see your chat box now. That's why I cannot. Kishore, have you got any chat from anyone? No.
No, sir.
Okay, fine. See, yeah, I had two chats. Let me see what is. Yeah, shows be. It's from Mr. Ravindra Reddy says, show be concerned, alert, and conscious. Excellent, Mr. Ravindra. This is correct one. Yeah, actually, worry is something which helps to give concern about. If you have worry, then only you will move on with your task. If you have worries, then only you will do more work. That help you to get prepared. But if it gets unsolved, if the worries get unsolved, that leads to depression and anxiety. The next comes our reptilian brain, or the brain stem, where rests our stress. Now, again, this stress is something, a physiological responses. It comes in our unconscious mind. That is, that works as a part of our sympathetic nervous system, like the fight or flight. It is the place where it releases adrenal glands. Now, when the stressful situations comes, there comes the physiological responses. For example, if you fears, then you started sweating, and in stressful situations when you sweat, that helps you to reduce the stress. So this is the way this stress helps you out. So stress is also a positive way, but if the stress is also not controlled, that can also lead to high blood pressures, high other health issues. And next comes the limbic system, where this is called the emotional states. Now, when the emotional states comes, this limbic system makes you more vigilance work. It does a vigilance work. But if this limbic system or this anxiety exists in the limbic system, as I said, anxiety is situated in the limbic system. The anxiety sits in the limbic system, and in a positive way, it acts as a vigilance task or vigilance function. And if it is not controlled, that also leads to depression. So I hope you are clear with the positive and negative sides of the three problems. Like they are worry, stress, and anxiety. Now let's see what the other things are. See here, worry, anxiety, and stress. The anxiety is something which is situated in the middle. So the worry, anxiety, and stress are all positive, but if it is not controlled, if the worry is not controlled, it leads to anxiety. If stress is not controlled, that leads to anxiety. That means it means that the main crucial player of our mental health or our mental imbalancing is played by the anxiety. This is something that leads to mental illness. So we have to control our worries or control our stress, then we can have a good anxious mind. Now see how we gonna let us see the types of worries first. We have two types of worries actually, practical worries and hypothetical worries. When we say practical worries, I hope you know what is practical worries, like this, the persisting problems and have some, I mean, we can have some control over it. Whereas when we come to some uh, other side, like we can invest time and energy on it. If we invest time and energy on it, that leads to some sort of fruitful benefits. That is called practical worry, which is some we have some control over it. And practical worries, if we have does not have a practical worry, that leads to procrastination and escapism. So practical worries are good because they are the solution. They help us to solve the persisting problem, and they help us to ponder and solve our persisting problems. So practical worries are worries which are a beneficiary for us. Whereas the vice versa is comes for the hypothetical worries, which is often focused on future, which is an unpredictable one, which is outside our control, and it is a waste of time and energy to put on it, put time for it. And investing our time on this particular hypothetical worries definitely lead us to anxiety and won't give you any fruitful things out. So these are the two types of worries. Now, when we move to stress, we have physiological responses, fight or flight, release of adrenal glands, sweating when get fear. All these comes under stress. So stress is also something very beneficial for us. As I said, we already said. And all these things are already discussed out, like vigilance function of the anxiety, make us more conscious. All these things are already discussed. Now we're going to check out. So I hope this much is clear to you. I'm quite fast because I had to end by the 1 hour. So are you guys okay with this much topic?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let's move to how to check and reduce anxiety. Now, to check whether you have an anxiety, you have to ask certain questions to ourselves. First one, does it take a long time for you to calm down after a stressful situation? Do you feel aggressive? Do you feel irritated? Do you feel unconcentrated and disturbed? Now these are the questions. Now there's always all this happens if you feel all these things, whether you feel unconcentrated, if you feel disturbed, if you feel aggressive, if you feel irritated, and it takes you to calm down. It takes more time to you to just calm down, and it again relapses with your anger and all. Then you should know that you should ensure that there's an imbalance between your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. I hope you know what this is. Now, when I say sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, sympathetic nervous system is completely on emotions. Sympathetic system is completely works on emotions. As I said, if you have it is actually, if you sometimes if you see a ferocious dog coming, running, rushing towards you, then what will you do? At the time, the response will be given to you by the parasympathetic system. So at the same time, when stress happens, as I said, sympathetic nervous system is a part of our unconscious mind where we think out of emotions. And parasympathetic system gives a break to it. It helps us to solve that emotions out. So so our conscious mind, all the problems are settled in our unconscious, our subconscious mind, and these problems of subconscious mind can be only solved if it get the helps of the parasympathetic system. That is what we call the right brain and the left brain and all. And when we come to the left brain and right brain, as I said, left brain is something, the people with the left brain are more into like what you say, more into practical oriented like things and all. Rationalistic are there, but the right brain people are with something imaginative, more creative, talented like that. They are more imaginative and more talented, artistic in nature. So, but to work in very proper way, you need to have a balance from both the right and left brain. So to imbalance, so this is the way, if we want to have a reduction of anxiety, firstly, you should have a balance between the right and the left brain. At the same time, you have to have a balance on parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. Now let's see how you're going to have this balance. To reduce our brain, not the brain, to reduce our anxiety, the most important thing is vagus system. That is, you have to stimulate our vagus system, our vagus nerve in our mind, in our brain, which help us to control this anxieties. See, the name vagus itself is, you can see the figure, but it's the vagus nerve. That is our 10th cranial nerve is vagus system, vagus nerve. And this vagus nerve starts from the top and ends to the bottom of our body. It runs all around the body. And through this reticulation of this or stimulation of this vagus nerve only, we can control our level of anxieties. I'm going to tell you certain things, how to stimulate the vagus nerve and all. So before that, I want to have questions from your side. Yeah, 36 participants are there. Please free to ask questions. Generally, there is something, a sense to go further. Yeah, anyone from the student side, you can ask questions. Any questions?
Sir, I think there is no question, sir. We can move on, and we are providing 5 minutes after the webinar for the question answer session.
Fine. Okay, then. Then let's move to what I said, how to control our anxieties during this pandemic situations. So these are the biological aspects which you should know, that what creates an anxiety, how to differentiate between stress, anxiety, worry, and anxiety. Now, the only thing to come out of our anxiety, as I said, is a simulation of vagus nerve. Before that, there's one more technique which help you to come out of your anxiety or worries, is visualization technique. And this visualization technique can be only used if you use your both right and left brain simultaneously. So what is visualization? Visualization technique means to think positively. Now, when I say think positively, it doesn't mean escapism. See, as I said, if you are going for an exam or if you are going for a job interview, there starts a tension inside you, anxiety inside you. What gonna be happen? What whether I get the job or not? If this things comes to you, in one way it is very beneficial, because if the anxiety comes in, if the worry comes into you, that is called not the anxiety, that is called the worry. If the worry comes into you, definitely you're going to prepare out. And when you prepare, you will going to have a nice time over there. That means you will be very successful. If you won't prepare, you will lose the interview. The same way, but if you are not controlling your worries, if you are continuously worried on the same thing, that will definitely leads to anxiety. So there should be a visualization. Visualization in the sense that you have to be very cautious about how to be how can I prepare. Imagine that you are going doing well in the exams, or you're doing well in the interview. Calm down yourselves like that. So in this way you can just control your emotions or control your tension center. So visualization is positive visualization. Now, when people say that, sir, how can I, when I say visualization, there comes a question: how do we visualize in such a tense situation? Now, visualization, as I said, visualization only comes to you if you take the challenge to visualize. We all people always have a negative thought comes first into our mind, but because we all have perception in us, we always have a perception, we always have a prejudice. Like suppose if you see a person with a high size person with a high muscle and all, we say thinks that, oh, he's a strong person, but unfortunately he may be something feeble one. So make sure that don't make perceptions before. The perception should be done not in your mind, in not don't do prior perceptions. You have to do visualization. Take you relax yourself and visualize about the positive thing. Then that will help out to solve the problem solved. So visualization is something very important to come that can help you out. To have a positive visualizations, I said I got to tell you how to have a positive visualization. See, guys, we have I said three brains: conscious, subconscious, unconscious. And conscious mind is something which have a rational thinking. Subconscious mind is something which always have dreams. It have two folders which have negative emotions, positive emotions. And unconscious mind, there is nothing called unconscious mind, because unconscious mind is something a dark, a blank. Parallel to this, we have three things called id, ego, superego. I hope you heard it. It is something it is something which is called what? Self-love, food, water, shelter, sex. All these things comes under it, and every person has his own it. Second thing is called ego. Ego. Ego means, what do you mean by ego? Ego says, here the ego, psychologically, ego says the positive thinking, have a rational thinking. And we come to superego. That is called something which always have a doubt whether to do, not to do, to do, not to do, that situation. So here the main concept of visualization is to increase your positive ego. Positive ego can be increased only by having a positive thoughts, by reading a good books, reading positive, watching a positive news and all. Simply, if I can hear that every day, if you go through the newspapers and all, day by day, the increasing cases of coronaviruses are skyrocketing, and you got tension. How my God, when the schools and colleges gonna open, when I will just return to my job, whether I'm gonna lose my job due to this pandemic, every sort of negatives comes to you because you are always into these negatives. So the best thing is that please just ignore the negative side. If you want to have a positive visualizations, if you want to have a positive side of life, then please ignore the negative sides and just concentrate on the positive for your life. Because if you are more concentrated on that side, what I said, those are what? Those are hypothetical worries which you cannot control actually. So have least concentration on that and concentrate more on the positive activities. Spend more time with your kids, spend time more with your friends, you can chat with your friends, uh, have some materialistic activities like any sort of exercises and all, so that you can just, I'm going to tell you what to do. I will help you with certain exercises that helps you out. You come out of your worries and all. So these things are very important. To visualization is very important thing just to control your anxiety. So that is the one process. And second thing we're going to tell you, I'm going to tell you how you're going to regulate or stimulate your vagus nerve. So I hope you guys are ready. Let's see. These are certain techniques only. The first one, stimulation of vagus nerve. There should be a balance between a sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve. And these methods, I go give you 101% assurance that if you're going to follow all the tips given over here, I said the tips given over here, definitely you're going to come out of your anxiety. That means this will stimulate your vagus nerve. So the first one is that every morning or every day, you have to splash your face with cold water twice a day. Twice a day or every day, two times you have to splash your face with the cold water. And then you have every day you have to take a walk for 45 minutes. You should take the walk. Then you can add more potassium and magnesium to your diets. And those who are like to have singing, make sure that you should reduce your notes, sing in slow notes without opening your mouth. You can have a tuning inside your mouth. That will help you stimulate the vagus nerve. And definitely the social interactions, interacting with your friends, interacting with your family members, that will definitely help you out. Then every day try to expose to the morning sunlight. Morning sunlight is very essential for you to just stimulate your receptors and all. Then having more probiotics like eggs and all, that will help. Then slow breathing. The breathing exercises will definitely help. We are going to help you out with the breathing exercises in that exhaling of air should be more. So this much is I'm going to discuss within this hour and how you can control your anxieties during this pandemic hours. Now let's interestingly moving into your queries now. I hope the participants are all awakened. No, don't mean to make you sleep actually. Kishore, is everyone okay or all slept?
Yes, sir. Sir, thank you, sir, for your informative session. And the participants can ask their doubts either by unmuting themselves or you can post it in the chat box.
Yeah, I only getting Mr. Ravindra's comments, and he's giving it clarified answers and all. Nothing, none of the others are giving me. Yes, I also get a comment from Radhika, and I need everyone to just have a chat. And instead of chatting, why don't you have just communication? And please don't hesitate to ask. You can ask in your own language. You can use Hindi. I also know speak in Hindi also too. You can also ask in Hindi. I can also ask in Malayalam. You can also ask in English. Let's have an interactive sessions before ending the sessions. Let's have some useful. So don't feel shy. Be very open up and ask you. If I have any mistakes, you can just clear me out so that I can learn from your side also. Because next thing I go moving into small exercises which will help you out. So please, on your cameras, or if you are shy, even on your audios and ask the questions. Yes, Sabrisha College students can also ask. This is for you, and you can also ask the questions. Kishore, nobody is asking anything. Uh, okay. Yeah.
Sir, there is a question from Ravindra Reddy M. Kindly elaborate more on probiotics.
Pardon?
Probiotics. Kindly elaborate more on probiotics, which was asked by Ravindra Reddy M.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like probiotics, you know that what is probiotics actually? Probiotics is something which definitely help you out to come out of, that will help you to increase your resistance and all that, immunity power increasing foods are called probiotic. That means the best probiotic you can have, the soups can help you out, and yogurt. The yogurts are the best thing you can have as a probiotic things and all. More probiotics actually in India, where we have a lot of foods you have a probiotic, like cheese are there, cheese probiotic is, the cheese is there, yogurt is there, all these things which help you out. And definitely if you have in India, uh, in village areas, the grandmas used to make a lot of pickles, so that the homemade pickles are also used as probiotics, which is very helpful for you these days and all. Yeah, anything apart from that?
Sir, there is
Yeah,
another question from Radhika.
yeah.
Because of online classes, most of the students are getting psychological issues.
Yeah.
How they can come in normal life? Please give some tips for them.
Yes. Now, for the students, let me tell you, uh, these days, apart from the online classes, let us discuss on a main problem of the adolescence is that adolescence period is something which is a crucial period. Here, already you have a lot of problems and stress within you, and added to that, this pandemic came. So this period is something very crucial period for you. And again, Ravindra Reddy sir also asked about the regular and competitive exams in pandemics. For all these things, I'm going to have a simple answers to you. Let us come to that. Before that, see, this is an age where you should know that this is an age where you, the teenagers or the adolescents, thinks from, that is from the age 11 to age 20. You just think from your limbic brain. That is, that more concentrates on emotions. The real thinking comes to you when you, after your 21 age. Sometimes it comes to 23 and all. When you start thinking, when your brain develops and you start thinking from the prefrontal cortex. That's why this age is full of emotions, full of romance, where you make relationship issues at this age, uh, flirting issues this age, sexual disorders this age, masturbation this age, addictions at this age. All these due to your thinking from your limbic system. So that is full of emotions. Many people, many teenagers comes to me and say, "Sir, I won't get love at home. That's why I went for a boy. I feel lonely at home." So these are the usual questions. But this time, They are these days they comes and say, sir, I want to go out, I feel filthy at home because so many my mother and father is giving intense care for me. So these are the problems arises now. So guys, let me tell you how to come out of this. So I'm going to tell you a technique which you can use to come out of your problems. One, I already discussed the visualization. So to do the visualization, this technique will also help you. The technique is called unique technique. Unique technique. That is UNIQUE. Is it clear? Kishore, is it clear the technique
Yes, yes,
unique?
sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
I'm going to explain one by one what is unique. In the unique, the first U. U stand for use your brain or use your head. That means that you have to use your head in such a way that be perfect or be in, use your, for example, if you're familiar with this exams and all, sometimes what happen, you are being struck with all the black letters, all the things given there and all. So what are you going to do? You just get seen some people, people mainly I just seen in Tamil Nadu, when the people make notes over there, they write with different color of pencil and pen and pencil. That is a drastic exercise that's help us to, because our brain is actually green color, gray matter. It loves color. So use lot of colors. And when you use colors when you give colors to your brain, that will help you out. That is called use your brain. You have to use your brain in such a way that to stick on to the positive thing. Whenever you feel irritated, when you feel agitated, you just move your brain to something positive. Your brain, you just go through different videos or different pictures, different magazines, different news articles, which gives positive to your brain. That is, use your brain. At that time, you have to use your brain to select something which suits your brain. That is called the first step. That is called use your head or use your brain. Second thing, when you, the N stands for note making. When I say for the students, when there comes for the issues like the examination issues and all, or when it comes to the lecturing notes and all, our mind only accepts what we study. So the best thing is that you always try to use a book like this. You use a rough book like this, and you start writing your own notes. When you hear a lecture note or if you're reading something out, you just prepare your own notes. And I said, why you use this type of books? Because the brain reads in this way. Have you ever seen of you're scrolling your WhatsApp and Facebook and all? How you scroll like this, like to upward direction, and you can sit a long hour with the same thing out. But when you read a book, how you move the book like this way, left, left, left. That is something boring to your brain. So always prepare a rough pad notebooks, note making. You do the note making, that will help you to read your brain, help you to be more concentrated and away from all the other sophisticated notes and all. The next comes I. I means you all loves to take it intervals. Take it intervals in between your studies or whatever your job you do. Take intervals in between. Q. Q is called the questioning capacity. Always ask questions. That's why I said ask questions. See, we people always have a magnetic power in us. And that magnetic power make us all sane. But the use of the magnetic power, the use of the brain is different. We won't use questions. We hide ourselves. That is our problem. Though the question is going to be a foolish one, let's ask, let's go into the arena, fight it. That is called the questioning capacity. Usable. See, everyone, I'm going to show you an example of your magnetic power. Ready? Please on your camera. Let me see you, any 2-3 persons at least. I'm going to show an hypnotic thing like. Ready? Okay. Put your fingers like this. Done. Do you see? Do you find any attractions occurring? Yes or not? Kishore, you can comment. Any attraction occurring? You just put your hands together and now hold like this. You can see a magnetic attractions coming. You can both the fingers are attracting towards each other. You find it? That is called the
Yes.
magnetic power. That is called the magnetic power in you. So, so use questions. Always have a questioning capacity. And next U, that unique. Next U stands for understanding. Whatever you study, understand very clearly. And then E is an exercise. Exercise is very important. I'm going to give you a breathing exercise to do. Just sit straight and hold one. You can see me. Hold one, your arm over there, left arm on your chest, and one on your belly. Take the belly in and hold your breath here, and then exhale out. Got it? This is the way you can do. This is called the belly breathing exercises, which can help you out to come out of your pressure or tensions. You have to do in a different way. For example, morning 15 times, evening 15 times you do. And definitely you can come out of your issues. So this, I'm sure that the unique technique is clear to you. U stands for use your brain or use your head. N stands for note making. I stands for taking intervals. Q stands for questioning capacity. U stands for understanding capacity. And E stands for exercises. So these are the techniques which you can take care of to come out of your stress in the pandemic situations. Yes. Anything else?
Sir, we have one more question.
Yeah, please.
Okay, what are the possible psychosocial issues that may occur in post-COVID era?
Psychosocial issues are many, because if I start on with the psychosocial issues, it won't become end this time, because there are many psychosocial issues coming up. You can have any questions on that? You can give me the problems. I can just suggest you out.
Uh, Sir, there is another question from
Yeah. No,
Srikala.
no. You just Kishore, you asked me about the
Yeah, psychosocial
yeah,
issues that may occur in.
psychosocial already we discussed here, right? Like the three things, that anxiety, stress, all the things are in the same. These are the things which are the basic psychosocial issues happening over here. And one thing, yeah, a good thing when I refer over here is the most post psychosocial issues reported is that I don't want to discuss, right? Because it is called the sexual abuses. I had a case of 15 cases reported within, you won't believe it, between 1 week of the post-pandemic time, where in-house molestations cases were reported, where there came a lot of sexual abuse issues. This all happens because of our unconcentrated, like disturbed and anxious mind. So please keep your mind always like cool. And as Ravindraji asked about the internet mobile technology addiction, there comes another problem called internet mobile addictions. As I said that, see, addictions is uh, many way. Now, how this mobile addictions affects you? These days, what happens when sometimes when this is called when mobile technology or internet addiction is another called the screen time addictions. Now, as I said, we have two layers of brain: upper brain, lower brain. Whenever kids uses internet or what happens these days, what happens when the more tantrum increases, the father says you can just use your you can use this phone, play something, you play the game and make shit out of your life, because they want to get relaxed because the kids are making noise all around. So what happens when the kids started using this internet, or when they start in front of the screen time, what happens, their lower brain started develops and the upper brain started relaxing. When the lower brain started, then when the lower brain started vibrations, when it starts activated, what happens? Our concentration decreases, our interest decreases, laziness increases, and we feel irritated to advices. Whenever somebody advises, we feel that that person is our enemy. So, and we started emotionally more addicted actually. Our emotional strength decreases because our upper brain is not at all working over there. So please make sure that, ensure that your friends or your siblings or your kids may want to use mobile phones or internet more than 1 hour. So be very careful about it. Anything else?
Sir, there is a
Yeah.
question from Srikala NR. What are the
Sure.
what are the ways to improve our psychological resilience?
Yeah. Psychological resilience, as I said, is actually you have to cope up with the problems. Psychological resilience is only the things we can cope up with the problem, and you can only have a psychological resilience if you have a positive mental health. And as I said, positive mental health can be only have if you are putting into your mind positive explanations. Something you should hear something hopeful news instead of having any negative issues. Don't put your ears into these days. Basically, you can see in many issues are being addressed in the news channels and all. Please, you just know what it is. Don't put your head into it because it will increase your tensions. You read something very positive things. You spend your time with small kids, especially if people have having a high tension and all. Make sure that you watch small cartoons like Mickey Mouse cartoons, that will help you out. And you can see certain kid movies and all, and something very comedy movies and all that will help you out. Okay, this is the only way to improve your psychological resilience. And those who have psychological problems, make sure that you don't eat so much of non-vegetarians. Try to curtail down your non-veg food and increase your fruit habits, increase your water level, increase your fiber level. That will helps you out. Have a lot of bananas in the evening before you go for sleep, because these days what happens, many ladies are suffering with the menopause issues or menopause stress disorders and pre-menopause menstrual stress disorders and all. So be very careful about it. Yes, anything else? So I hope the time is getting come.
Clarifying all the questions raised by the participants.
Thank you, dear.
So we are moving to the end of the webinar.
Okay.
So let me invite trainee social worker Nufina Naushad for delivering the vote of thanks. Nufina, please.
Good afternoon to all. It's my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. First of all, I express our sincere gratitude to Honorable Dr. Srijit Nair, sir, for accepting our invitation to be a part of the webinar and also for the very informative session. Thank you, sir, for the valuable time spent for us. Next, I extend our sincere thanks to our principal in charge and head of the department, Professor V.G. Harish Kumar sir, one of the main person behind this venture. Thank you, sir, for providing us a wonderful opportunity. I thank our respected teachers, Professor Jidish M., Mrs. Neeraja Raj, and Ms. B.B. Molasis for your presence and support. Finally,